The broker part of the vision goes ahead and makes it available to the end users through a comprehensive framework of policy, identity, and context, meaning you can make sure that all these services are provided appropriately to your end users. And lastly, the deliver part of the vision basically talks about multi-device access, where you can go ahead and access all these services from an end user perspective on multiple different kinds of devices in various contexts. So the VMware end user computing vision is all based on these three fundamental tenets of transformation of assets into central services, brokering, and then delivering them on a multi-device workspace. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the VMware Horizon end user computing portfolio. So right now, the portfolio consists of three key products: VMware Horizon View, which is our virtual desktop infrastructure solution that allows you as a customer to simplify your desktop and application management. The second part of our solution portfolio is the VMware Horizon Mirage, which lets you get centralized access to a physical and virtualized desktop management. And the third key part is the VMware Horizon Workspace, that allows you to streamline the end user experience on a multi-device workspace and give your users access to all the various IT services that they need. Now, all these products essentially are driving real benefits for our customers, and the three areas in which they're really driving benefits are scale and manageability. You can go ahead and scale up your end user computing services and resources substantially and very quickly using Horizon product portfolio. Similarly, the second thing that we provide in terms of real benefits is end user experience, where users get access to all the services that they need to be productive and actually enjoy the experience of accessing these services. And the third part of our benefits is really to provide cost savings to our customers, where you can go ahead and deploy these systems, make them available to your end users at very low total cost of ownership. So with that, let me talk a little bit more about VMware Horizon View, which is our virtual desktop infrastructure solution. So View basically allows you to go ahead and transform all the virtual desktops that you have and host them on an on-premise data center. So basically, it lets you simplify desktops and applications, host them in a data center through virtualization. It then allows you to broker these virtual desktops down to the end users in a very secure manner. So you can actually go ahead and manage and secure these virtual desktops. And the management of all of this is very simple through a centralized console. And one of the advantages of doing that is you no longer have to worry about data being left on endpoints or PCs of the users who might be bringing in their own devices, for example. And the third key piece of a Horizon View is that we then allow you to deliver these virtual desktops on any device the user wants. For example, you can deliver it on an iPad or an iOS phone. You can deliver it on an Android, or you can even deliver it on a conventional PC like many of our customers do. So with that, let me talk a little bit about some of the latest highlights of Horizon View and how this is actually driving additional benefits to our customers. So in terms of streamlined management, Horizon View is completely integrated with vCenter operations for View, and this lets you as an IT department or a help desk gain complete visibility into your View deployment. For example, if a certain section of your View deployment is running into issues regarding, say, internet bandwidth, you can actually use VCOps for View to drill down deeper into why is it that these desktops might be consuming more internet bandwidth, or they might be consuming more storage space. So it basically gives you the complete ability to do streamlined management. Also includes ThinApp, which allows for easy application patching and updates so that you don't have to worry about running multiple versions of applications in your environment. The second key set of capabilities that Horizon View recently has updated is the enhanced end user experience. So in the latest release, we've added support for 3D, video streaming, and a lot more capabilities that allow you to run heavy-duty applications like, for example, AutoCAD, etc., for the end users. So what your end users will see is a very streamlined video experience. It's almost as if they're running it on their local desktops. In addition to that, we also have gone ahead and added in Unity Touch support for native tablet experience. So there's an interesting video on our website that actually shows how you can literally go ahead and play first-person shooting games on a virtual desktop today without having to worry about how the user is going to how the user experience is going to get affected. And the third key set of enhancements we've done is basically to go ahead and improve our total cost of ownership. So one of the things we've added is an integration with our virtual storage area network, which is in public beta right now, that allows a VDI or View to basically go ahead and leverage the virtualization of the storage area network and further reduce the costs associated with storage. So those are some of the key feature highlights that we've come up in this release, and they're kind of geared towards these three areas that we just talked about. Now, in addition to that, some or most of you must have heard that we recently acquired at VMware Barcelona a company called Desktone, which basically was a very close partner of ours and which provides desktop as a service set of capabilities. So with Desktone, VMware now gives our customers the ability to run desktops in the cloud. And when you start combining that with the concept of an on-premise data center, it gives you the ability as a customer to deal with, burstability issues, which deals with, situations when your customer or your end users need to get access to many more desktops than what they have. So this actually has kind of helped improve or help enhance the end user computing vision to basically give our end customers the ability to run desktops in the cloud as well as on-premise. Obviously, it gets all the benefits of a typical cloud infrastructure like predictable costs. It gives you agile delivery, meaning you don't have to go ahead and set up infrastructure every time you want to make more desktops available. It provides an amazing console which gives you the ability to have very low touch management. So you can go ahead and provision desktops very quickly. And then of course there are guaranteed SLAs that back the whole infrastructure up so that your end users as well as you as the IT department get a seamless experience with the whole technology. Now with that, I'm going to talk a little bit about one of our customers who's gone ahead and implemented some of our DaaS services. So Foley & Lardner is a global legal services firm, and they went ahead and deployed desktop as a service because they had a very mobile workforce that was causing them a lot of grief. And using the new Desktone capabilities, they went ahead and reduced their mobile costs by over 22%. And as you can see, they've been highly successful with this deployment. They've managed to make over 1,200 deployed desktops available to their end users today, as a matter of fact. And on this slide, you can see all our various customers who are basically using Horizon View today. And you can see that we've got some really amazing names in there. You've got ADP, you've got NEC, etc. A bunch of customers who've been successfully deployed and using View and are extremely happy with the service they're getting as such. Now with that, let me talk a little bit more about Horizon View and how IBM helps augment some of our deployments in this case. So IBM has been working very closely with us to kind of develop the foundation for the entire Horizon View deployment. And some of the new things that we've come up together as a team is basically an example of a solution like that would be the VMware Branch Office Desktop solution. So the whole idea here is that, the whole solution together, VMware View and IBM PureFlex, essentially can take the guesswork out of implementing a true virtual desktop infrastructure solution so that as a customer, your total cost of ownership is reduced, your necessity to manage the infrastructure is reduced as well. Now, let me talk a little bit more about why you should consider a VDI solution from IBM and VMware. And there are 4 primary reasons as to why you should really look at this in greater detail. The first one is improved manageability, meaning, with the whole solution, you get easier hardware and software asset management. It's much easier to manage all your various users, their groups, and their needs in a distributed environment using this solution. The second key benefit is lower costs because it goes ahead and it simplifies hardware and software installation as well as the configuration needed to make this up and running. It also reduces the need for help desk and desk side support, thereby keeping your help desk costs much lower than what they ordinarily would be. The third key benefit really is productivity and mobility. So, View gives your end users the ability to be very mobile. Whether they're in a train or in a plane, they can go ahead and access their View desktops. And augment this with IBM infrastructure, and what you get is higher availability than a distributed PC environment, as well as anywhere and anytime access for your end users and your mobile users. And the fourth key benefit really is security and compliance, where you're able to go ahead and enforce the right controls on the user's data, on the user's accesses, to make sure that none of the data leaves your environment or is not exposed to any kind of risk. Also, disaster recovery and management, and simplifies the whole idea of disaster data backup so that you're more compliant with your organization's needs as such. Let me talk a little bit more about
good question.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Can you hear me okay? Okay. So
should I continue?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. With that, let me kind of talk a little bit more about a common customer that we've had together. So this customer is one of the largest banks in Japan with over $1.4 trillion of assets. Employees over 34,000 and about 30,000 partners. And the reason why they went ahead and deployed a common solution of IBM and VMware basically was because they wanted to refresh their PCs. And this refresh cycle was really requiring them to reconsider the next generation terminal architecture. The key goals of this project was security, agility, and improved manageability, and they were able to achieve that using the combined solution. And the results kind of speak for themselves. They have over 20,000 VMware View users who deployed in their environment with significant operational expense reduction, as well as greater security and simplified management. So this kind of tells you the power of the two solutions together. And with that, I'm going to bring this presentation to a close. Thank you again for your time. And as always, we are available for any questions after this call. Thanks.
Okay, so now we're going to change speakers. So let me go ahead and transfer to him. Okay, and Dan is going to be loading his presentation, and he will be presenting.
Okay. Can everybody see my screen? It says IBM SmartCloud Desktop Infrastructure. I'll take it as a yes.
No.
Oh, no. How about now?
It looks great. Thanks, Dan.
Okay, perfect. Arthur, thank you so much. That was a fantastic overview of VMware View and VMware's relationship with IBM. Now that you guys are all excited about what you can do, I'm here to talk to you about how you can do it. So let's take a look at IBM's solution approach and how we work with VMware to deliver a complete virtual desktop solution. In perfect adherence to the age-old adage that IBM is a technology company, not a marketing company, I present to you IBM's SmartCloud Desktop Infrastructure, otherwise known as SDI. I make a joke about us not being a marketing company because SDI is actually so much more than simply infrastructure. It's a complete end-to-end solution which includes virtual desktop software, infrastructure hardware, design and implementation services, and support. And there are three main properties which we believe are key to the successful implementation of any solution, and those are choice, reliability, and expertise. Choice in the sense that instead of taking a one-size-fits-all approach, we take a reference architecture approach and support a wide range of software solutions, hardware solutions, hypervisors even, and leverage multiple vendors in our ecosystem. So if there are particular components of your existing infrastructure which you'd like to leverage, we do not throw out the baby with the bathwater. Instead, we take a flexible but reference architecture approach to use not only your existing assets, but bring in assets which are optimized to run a virtual desktop infrastructure. And then reliability. Obviously, the PureFlex portfolio is a very robust and reliable infrastructure. And then the expertise, which is really key from an implementation services standpoint. IBM has done thousands of virtual desktop infrastructure projects, and we've leveraged different levels of expertise based on the size of the organizations and the implementations that we're doing to put together best practices to deliver this solution, not only on the front end, but also to support it ongoing. And so talk a little bit about the approach that we use. This slide is very busy. I apologize for that. But if you look on the left, there is the flex system approach, which is basically reference architectures that allow you to leverage different storage components based on whether you would like to do disks or NFS or block-based storage. And then if you look to the right of the slide, it's our fully integrated, predefined configurations, which is what we call our PureFlex solution. Really quickly, I just want to make sure that everyone understands that the foundation for both of these solutions is the flex system chassis infrastructure. So regardless of whether it's a, kind of a build it your own from the ground up and leverage reference architectures as a flex system solution, or a predefined configuration, drop-in, turnkey solution called PureFlex, the physical hardware which resides underneath both of these solutions is exactly the same. So let's take a look a little bit deeper at the PureFlex solution, which is the turnkey offering. We still provide some levels of choice, right? So we have choice about the compute nodes, whether that be our X222 or X240, and I'll go into more detail there. We also include a couple of file storage servers, a couple of VDI management servers, our Flex Systems Manager, which is also known as our FSM, which is kind of the brain of the entire physical infrastructure, and then our V7000 storage node, which provides block-level storage. We also have the ability to drop into the box Windows 2012 and VMware View, and although it's not the basis for our discussion today, we actually support VMware View and Citrix. We've got a partnership with them as well. I will tell you that we feel like the VMware View offering is much more robust. So let's look a little bit deeper at the new announcements that just came out on 11/5. We actually announced some enhancements to what was originally offered way back in the June timeframe in terms of our SmartCloud desktop infrastructure. We now support the X222 server node, which was just recently announced. That is a double-dense node. You can actually fit up to 8,400 virtual desktops in a single rack. We do that by offering 28 physical servers per chassis, 4 chassis per rack, 112 servers, and we've actually seen up to 8,400 virtual desktop users in a single floor top. Very, very powerful. We've expanded our storage guidance to include not only our N-Series or our rebranded NetApp storage for NFS and Persist, but we also now have block-level storage guidance around our V7000, both a unified version and the block-level version, and as well as our V3700, which is similar to the V7000, but a little bit smaller and a little bit more cost-effective for some of our small and medium business clients. We continue to have end-to-end service and implementation capabilities, and we've actually enhanced those to incorporate some of the new physical components which we've added into the framework. So let's dig a little bit deeper on the Flex 222 and X240 nodes. So the 222, as I mentioned before, is a double-dense design. We actually support up to 28 physical servers in a 10U chassis. That's 56 processors. Each one of those nodes supports up to 384 gigs of memory, so it's a no-compromise design. Right? 384 gigs is actually plenty of memory for a single node in a VDI implementation. And it actually provides our clients up to 60% increase in their VDI density. It's optimized, obviously, for clients that want to reduce their cost and complexity with fewer physical chassis, fewer switches, fewer floor tiles. So, if power and cooling is a concern of yours, or you're leveraging a hosted facility for your infrastructure and you get charged for floor tile or you get charged for power drop, this is an absolutely fantastic solution for you. It still offers the maximum VDI network performance, We have the ability to expand the ports associated with that. So if your network requirements grow over time, we give you the ability to do a license upgrade and add 10 gig Ethernet network ports and fiber channel ports. So it's a pay-as-you-grow scenario. And we leverage our onboard 10 gig Ethernet network. So then there's the 240, which is more of a common building block approach, slightly larger system in the sense that we fit 14 of these in a 10U chassis. Still a very good design. It actually supports up to 768 gigs of memory. So if you have larger memory requirements specific to your user base for your virtual desktop workloads, this can be a more attractive solution for you. It still provides up to 80% better processor performance than a previous generation of Intel technologies. Fits perfectly into your existing and future environments, and much like the X222, leverages the 10 gig network, leverages our flexible switches with the ability to upgrade on demand. So then we actually go beyond simply the infrastructure, as I mentioned before, and we can augment the VMware View solution by offering optional software packages around endpoint management, SmartCloud monitoring, which actually does capacity planning, cloud monitoring, and then we also have our Security Access Manager software, which gives you single sign-on and some enhanced security functionality for your virtual desktop environment. These are add-ons, right? So they're not forced upon you in any way, right? But we've built the architecture such that we can support all these additional functions through our extended IBM software portfolio. So let's talk a little bit about one of our customer success stories, University Hospitals of Leicester. We actually supported up to 12,000 concurrent doctors, nurses, and admin staff all through this one solution. We reduced their IT infrastructure and their aging PC infrastructure, and we eased the desktop support requirements. And the way that we eased the desktop support requirements was, as Archie mentioned before, being able to log in anywhere into a persistent user interface and not have to deal with physical hard drive failures in the field and having to come out and service those machines in disparate locations was a huge boon for them from a support standpoint. The ability to do patching from a centralized location was also very advantageous. And we talked about some of the other things that are advantageous about VMware View specifically. The solution included PureFlex servers. It included VMware vSphere and View and their Horizon suite. And some of the benefits that the client received were just in phase one, they reduced their desktop CapEx by 50%. Boot and login times are now 5 seconds and 10 seconds. So they had actually attempted to do this with a different storage platform from the V7000 originally, and they had really bad boot storms and really delayed login time. Leveraging the V7000 in this solution actually enabled them to get down to 5 seconds and 10 seconds respectively. And they're able to more easily meet and prove not only their privacy concerns, but their NHS compliance. So their auditors required that they show compliance and security, and we were able to deliver that through our tools. So if you're going to get these slides here at the end, and you will actually be able to click on the hyperlink here in slideshow mode, and it will actually take you to a repository of additional information about SmartCloud desktop infrastructure. Obviously, it's impossible to cover everything in a 10 to 15 minute time window, but we have links to a wide array of additional information in our library. We also have access to our reference architectures. So you can see what those reference architectures are, whether that be for CIS storage, NFS storage, block-based storage, etc. We have solution guides and sizing tools as well. So a wide array of information and tools to help you in the design and decision-making process around virtual desktops. I will say that that is not a substitute for IBM services, and we go well beyond what we can deliver from a website in terms of design and implementation of your virtual desktop environment. But this is a great starting point and reference materials. So with that, I will turn it back over to the host, and we will make sure that we have plenty of time for questions and answers.
Okay, everybody, we're going to go ahead and ask people they can ask online. So let me enable everybody right now. So just give me a second, please. Okay, I'm unmuting everybody. So if you can be quiet unless you're asking a question, that would be great. Okay?
You threw me a curveball, Rita. It's okay. Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know all the answers, but I'll try to find out what we can do. Give me some time, and I'll try to find an answer for you. Sure, not a problem. I'll give you a buzz back as soon as I hear anything. All right, I'll call you back even if I can't find anything. All right. There you go. Yeah, all right, thanks.
I'm sorry, everybody. I was going to have people ask their own questions, but that's not going to work. So if you can please submit your questions, that would be great. And we'll ask of the presenters, okay? Okay. Okay, if you have any questions, what I need you to do is just online to go ahead and submit it online. We had too much other conversations from people, so it wasn't appropriate. So if you can just key in your questions, and then the presenters can answer your questions. And you just basically type in on the questions. So let me know if you have any questions. Okay, I see questions being asked right now, so let me go ahead and read that. Somebody asked if you can get a question of the presentation, and yes, all the people that have attended, I will send a copy of the presentation. And that will, you may not get that until tomorrow or Thursday, but you will get a copy of the presentation. Okay, so now I have a question of the presenters. And the question is, what matrix, which means number of users, etc., are involved in determining if a VDI project would be of benefit? So if I can get one of the presenters to answer that.
application. Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, now we can. Sorry about that.
No worries, yeah. So why don't I
Okay.
take this question? This is Archit from VMware. So the
Right.
way I understood the question, just so that I repeat this, is what is the one metric that helps, say, our customers understand that VDI might be useful for them, right? So I would really look for basically the total cost of really owning and managing the PC infrastructure that you have. You know, there are a number of interesting case studies that you'll find on our VMware website that tell you how much of savings you could typically get from your, from transitioning from your PC environment to a VDI environment, just using Horizon View as such, right? So if your metrics correspond to those numbers, that would be the best way of really understanding if VDI is right for you. Hope that helps.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I'm hoping that there's some other questions. Does anybody else have other questions? Please let me know. The presenters, do you have anything while we're waiting for some additional questions? Do you have any things that you might want to add to the presentation? Okay. I want you guys to also look at the presentation. If you have any additional questions that you haven't thought of right now, but you want to go ahead and look at later, you can submit a question to Pete Elliott, who's the Director of Marketing, and you see his phone number is 818-737-2804, or Pete Elliott at keyinfo.com. Trying to see if there's any other questions. Anybody else have any other questions that you want to submit? Okay. Oh, here I see one now. Okay. The question is, how does VDI perform when using Adobe products such as Photoshop and Illustrator? And who would like to answer that question?
Yeah, I can take that question. So, in the latest release of VDI or VMware Horizon View, we have a number of new capabilities that we've released with respect to 3D and graphics and in general all of that, right? So if you're photo editing, for example, we've got the ability to do shared graphics adapter. We can do direct graphics adapter emulation as well. So the performance is very close to native, like what you typically see as if you're on a typical PC or a thin client or whatever, right? So some of these enhancements are pretty interesting. The VDGA or Virtual Direct Graphics Adapter enhancement we made to View essentially not only lets you run things like Adobe Illustrator, etc., but even if you want to run first-person shooting games or AutoCAD on a View desktop, the performance will be as good as native when you actually go ahead and view it on your endpoints. I hope that helps.
Okay, great. Again, are there any other questions from anybody? Again, we really appreciate the speaker's time, and clearly if you have any additional questions, I'm just going to wait one more minute to see if there's any other questions. If not, we will end the presentation, but just give me one more minute. Is there anybody else that has another question that they would like answered now? And clearly if you come up with something after the presentation, you can either email Pete or and we can get the questions answered also if we haven't answered that today. So we really appreciate everybody's time, and I have not heard from anybody else, so I'm going to go ahead and end the presentation. Thank you very much, the speakers, for your wonderful presentations, and we will get in, and again, we will be sending a copy of this presentation so you have it for anybody that attended today. Okay, thank you everybody.
Thank you.